Hello, this is a look at the Voyages database, which can be used to look up information about the transatlantic slave trade. I want to be able to provide you with an example of how, if you're needing to look up information about specific nations that were involved in the slave trade, or wanted to try to find information about what places in the Americas that were ports that disembarked Africans that were taken from Africa, where you would go to try to find that sort of information. So what you would do from the start is to go to the search Voyages database. On the main page of the database, you see that there is a area of results here in the center. And then on the left side here, you have a column where there are different variables that you can use to try to narrow your results in finding specific records about different ships that were involved in the transporting of Africans. So to be able to find specifically information about what nations were involved in the slave trade, and specifically what ports of call did slave ships use in the Americas, what we could do is, first of all, try to narrow the time frame down to a good section of time that will gather a lot of results. So I'm going to go with 1750 to 1850. And then from there, in the ships, nations, and owners section, go to the flags. From there, I will use Great Britain and the USA as two simple, straightforward sections to use for now. And also to try and narrow some of the results down even further, we can go to the voyage itinerary section and come to the section where it's the place where the principal place of slave landing, and try to narrow down an area to where we have records of where Africans were disembarked here in the Americas. In this section, for the variables, I will click these two sections here. I'll click this section here, press OK, and then once I have all of my variables in place, I'll press search and see what comes up. And we see we have listed here 1 out of 10 out of over 1,000 results. So I'm just going to put a few more results up on the page. And what I want to try to find is some results that are in the New England section of the United States. So I just want to scroll through the slave landing section and see if we can find some results for the Northeast United States. And I see here that there is a result for New York from Africa, and the ship's name was Nancy in 1770. So I'm going to click here, and what we'll see here is the results that are listed in a sort of Excel-like format, where we have the origination of the ship's voyage in Bristol, which is Britain, to Africa for the purchase of Africans, and then New York, its principal and first landing port in the Americas. So for the most part, out of those results, and you see here 1770, most of the variables that we put into the search is what we were able to find here in this results. And from there, if you wanted an option to see the route, there is a map that is provided as well to give you information visually of where it went from Africa to North America as well. So if you are looking for information, say about a nation or about a location that was involved in the slave trade, this would be an option for you to use in terms of trying to narrow results down and finding specific results that might suit the research that is being looked for here.